What is up, homies? Welcome back to another trailer reaction from Heroes Reforged. We're reacting to the brand new trailer for Joker, FOLIE 2. I should remind you guys, you can check out all the uncut reactions for all the shows and movies that we're watching on our Patreon. They're all linked down below. We're in the middle of doing House of the Dragon. We're going to be starting some new stuff very, very soon. Batman Cape Crusader, just letting you know now.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Check out all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff coming towards the end of the year as well. Also, make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you thought about this trailer. What are your favorite moments from the trailer, and are you looking forward to the movie? Are you guys ready?
For the French, we will do it correctly. Folie à deux.
Yeah.
For Todd Phillips, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a little pretentious, bro. I don't know what you think you're doing. A little. All right. We get it. You don't like these comic book stuff. We get it. Yours movies is a step above. We get it. We get it. It's a musical. Great. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Hector, you seem so thrilled to watch this trailer.
I know.
You know, it's weird because I did not enjoy the first film, and I have a lot of issues with it, and I think that on a lot of different levels it didn't work for me, and I was really surprised to see how it was received, but I was also not surprised to see how it was received. Well received and also not well received in certain places.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see how this is going to turn out, like how audiences are going to respond to this, because the DC brand is in a very strange place right now. It's in a transitional spot. I don't know. It's just, you know, I don't know what sort of goodwill or damage this may or may not do to the brand going forward. No idea. We live in weird times right now. At some point, another actor is going to play the Joker that's going to be lined up with the James Gunn, maybe mainstream DC universe, and that's going to be completely different than this. But will these two movies impact the way people think of this character? I'm sure they will, because the first one already has, for better or for worse. So this movie might not be for me, might not be my cup of tea, but I don't know what else to say there is after that. I don't know what else there is to say.
Well, we will most likely be rewatching this movie leading up to the release of Joker FOLIE 2. So
I do love Lady Gaga. I think she's a fantastic actor and super talented human being. I love Lady Gaga. I'll watch anything or listen to anything Lady Gaga does. I'm a fan of people who throw down with the Muppets. Do you know what I'm saying? And Lady Gaga's down to clown with the Muppets. She's A-okay in my book.
I guess we kind of echo your sentiments. Well, at least I do, where I thought the first Joker was, I guess to put it kindly, far, far, far below the masterpiece that people think it is. I really would never call the first one a masterpiece of a movie. It left a lot to be expected for me. I felt like they were trying to say something and never really got to what they were trying to say. And let's hope that this one is much, much, much better than that. I'll just say that.
All right, here we go.
2 years ago, the name Arthur Fleck hit Gotham like a hurricane.
The trial of the century. They believe Arthur Fleck to be some kind of martyr. Well, he's not. There's a monster.
Oof, that's creepy.
When I first saw Joker, when I saw you, for once in my life, I didn't feel so alone anymore.
Jeez, the physicality of that.
Yeah.
So thin.
Yeah.
Pepe Le Pew up on the screen. Yeah. Great.
FOLIE 2, come on.
You, Arthur. Do you still think you're a star?
Was that Brendan Gleeson?
I think it was.
I was not expecting that.
You can do anything you want. You're Joker.
Oh, Jesus. Waterboarding him?
Any of you to keep me down.
Huh. It's a nice callback.
the suspicion that we're not giving the people what they want.
It's okay, baby. Let's give the people what they want.
Oh God.
It's like a Sonny and Cher
Sheesh.
setup.
Yeah. Whoa. Jesus Christ.
Oh man.
Creepy. Creepy. On a technical level, that movie looks fantastic. Like cinematography, lighting, all the choices they've made with the image and with the sound, it's all like top notch. And I have the same thoughts about the first film. Like it's a very technically well-made film. Like you can't argue that. It deserved, pretty sure it got a nomination for cinematography and a bunch of other technical awards. And I think it did deserve them.
Didn't it get a nomination for also best score, or am I misremembering?
I think so. I think it won. I think it won actually best
fantastic.
score. And then Joaquin Phoenix also won an Oscar for his performance, which performance-wise, like, yes, Joaquin Phoenix and I'm sure Lady Gaga are going to deliver incredible performances. I really liked her in A Star is Born. I thought she was a powerhouse in that movie. So I think it has all of the ingredients for a great film. And I thought the first one did too. Like Augustine was saying, I don't hold the story in as high of a regard as most people do. I think that if you were to just look at the story, it's fine. I don't think it's so incredibly well written, and I don't think it's so emotionally impactful that it's one of the best DC stories. And that's like aside from the fact that it doesn't even take place it doesn't connect to anything. Just as a singular standalone story, there's elements of it that I think work really well. A lot of it for me didn't work. And I don't want to prejudge this movie too much, but just from the trailer, visually, technically, I think a lot of it is going to work incredibly well for me. I don't know how sold I am on the story yet of Arthur Fleck's trial, how Gotham City views him, how you know the justice system views him versus how the public views him. That all kind of remains to be seen. And also, I still don't really totally get a sense of what the story is other than he's on trial. We're going to potentially prosecute him for the crimes that happened in the first film. How does that tie into his relationship with Harley Quinn? And it leads to some kind of chaos, but we don't have a full picture of what that is yet. But of course, you know, I'm sure the trailers, they're not going to reveal that. It's just to kind of give you a little flavor of what the movie is. So kind of remains to be seen for me, but it looks great.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's more of the same. And I think for people who love the first movie, they should be stoked because it just looks like it's going to be more of the same. Even if there's added elements of like, oh, it's apparently a musical. It's like, well, that doesn't mean anything because the original had sequences where like Arthur Fleck was hallucinating or sort of in his kind of imagination. Same sort of thing is going to happen. But at that story level of what is this movie trying to say, I think it's going to be more of the same. And I think that for me, I never really expected, I'll take that back, actually. I did expect for this to be the first sort of solo Joker movie or the solo like Batman villain movie. I was really expecting something a little more sort of reveling in that lore and really loving that. And I think that the first Joker film, and it's fine that it's a new take, but I think Todd Phillips and team weren't doing a Joker movie. They just were sort of playing with the iconography and the names and the imagery and just trying to tell a sort of like 70s Scorsese movie, which is fine. But for me, as someone who is a real big fan of that character and certain of those stories and certain of that mythology, some of that mythology from like comic books and cartoons and film and whatever else, I was frustrated by that. I felt like it was like a misinterpretation or a misread of what the Joker character is, but the movie didn't care about that. It's their new version of what the thing is. I think, frankly, based on Todd Phillips and team's shallow, not really going too deep idea of what the Joker as a concept is. Yeah, we got it. We got failed stand-up comedian. Awesome. I'll do that movie. We got it. And then they did try to shoehorn like, and then here's Bruce Wayne and how this has to like, and that was frustrating too, because I'm like, that doesn't have anything to do with it. Like, don't even do that if you're just going to do, you know. So I think that watching the trailer for this reminded me of all those feelings I had from that first movie. Not looking forward to rewatching the movie. It's not a good time for me. And I like some very cynical and dark and bleak stories. It's just that this one, I felt like the very idea of it was very cynical. The very like intention of like, well, I can't get other movies greenlit, so I'm going to do a Batman tie-in and it will be greenlit. And I think that's also part of the reason, I think very cynically, I'm being cynical here. It's part of the reason why the movie was such a success. That if this movie was not called Joker and did have anything to do with Batman, would a Joaquin Phoenix character study where he plays a character named Arthur Fleck who suffers from this laughing thing and is mentally unwell, would it do as well? No, I don't think it would have. And I think the first movie kind of knows that the entire time. Like they know what they have. And this one, with the fact that Lady Gaga is playing Harley Quinn, a version of Harley Quinn, they know what audiences might be expecting and they're kind of, who what they're loyal to. And it is also weird, man, I think Lady Gaga is great, but it is also weird years later after seeing Margot Robbie play the character and really try to break the character off of that toxic relationship of the Joker. We've now had a couple of seasons, a couple of years of the animated Harley Quinn show that does the same thing, really breaks her off. She's been such an independent and an almost Deadpool-like character for DC Comics for like a decade plus now, that it is almost weird to see some media where it's like, here's a toxic relationship of the Joker and Harley again. And I'm like, dang, interesting. I hope it's not just Oscar bait and that they have something to say about that. I'm not expecting the movie to come through with like a positive depiction of a woman who gets out of a toxic relationship, which has been what Harley has evolved into over the years as a character. I got a lot of thoughts about this, but it looks awesome. I'm sure it's going to be really well put together and the performances are going to be really great. I'm just like, I'm in a weird spot because I am a comic book fan and I have a lot of close thoughts about these particular characters. And it is weird to see other people come in and go, yeah, we got it. And I'm like, I don't feel great about this. And I'm not trying to be gatekeepery or like, I just feel, yeah, we got it. We know what we're doing. We got this. Don't worry about it. Just shut up. We're fine. And I'm like, all right. And this one's not for me. It's fine.
Yeah. I kind of echo that, Hector. I think we've been told in media time and time over and over again, and specifically with Joker, and almost every iteration of media that we've seen with him, he doesn't exist without Batman. Like, he came out because of Batman. He is there because of Batman, because he, quote unquote, kind of admires what Batman does and kind of wants to be his. I would say that's the folie adieu, like Batman and Joker, right? I think them two are the ones who really have that relationship going on. So to see it so not centered around that feels very odd to me. And I think you're 100% right. If this movie did not have anything tied to Batman and it was just a man suffering through some kind of psychosis, I don't think this would be anywhere nearly as revered as what people think so far. It also just feels odd that, especially at a time like this, given the state of the world, to be it feels like it's glorifying some kind of villainy without consequences, that I'm just like, this feels kind of weird, man. Like, yeah, like he's trying to stick it to the system and all that stuff, but it just feels like it's coming from a place of just like a 12-year-old who likes to flip people off all the time, just go, I'm flipping you off and you can't do anything about it. Like, okay, that's fine. Whatever, kid, get out of here. That's how I'm kind of looking at it. But I also don't want to discredit or make it feel like this movie doesn't look technically beautiful and is beautifully shot. Like Adam said, like there's so much artistry going on behind the scenes that I definitely want to give this movie such a fair shot and really kind of try to understand what they're trying to put out with this movie. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. Hopefully it breaks my expectations, and we'll take it from there. Yeah, maybe they took some of those notes from that first film. That, like you're saying, Augustine, it felt very shallow level in terms of engaging what it's trying to engage with. To me, it kind of ended up feeling like, okay, you're making a movie about a guy who, and the movie around this guy feels like, oh, the reason that this man has issues is because of society, as opposed to like engaging with real issues that are plaguing society right now in different groups and different demographics. It did come across like this white man is the target because he's just a white man and he's trying, and you're like, what are we talking about here? If you're talking about the stuff you're trying to engage with it and, sink your teeth into it. It felt like the first movie was something that like Elon Musk would love.
that's how I that's a bad taste that leaves in my mouth. It's just like, oh my God, somebody like that would be like, yeah, this is a great film. And you go, you're dumb. Like, what are you talking about? This is a potentially harmful messages that were in that first film. But will it happen in the second one? No, not necessarily. Hopefully things like that will be addressed and it will have something of real substance to say, and especially it also made me feel bad about how it's a character, Arthur, who obviously has mental health issues, and then the movie like made him and like you're saying, Augustine, kind of glorifying this violence and made it seem like he had no choice. He was just because society rejected him and he was going to spiral into this. And I don't think that it was taking on like real conversations about people that have mental health issues in this country and around the world, and real things that we need to be doing to be helping these people. It was just kind of in a gross way using that to be like, that's the Joker. He's mentally unwell. And you go, don't do that. Like, be meaningful and have something to say about that. And that's the other thing that, again, frustrates me as a fan is once you kind of read enough comic books or get enough into the Batman and Joker stuff, first of all, you realize that Lego Batman nailed it. Like you said, Augustine, that's the couple 100%. Right there. That's the ship.
Yeah.
That's the ship. But secondly, that like, when you're a little kid, you're like, oh, the Joker is crazy. He's mentally unwell. And then you get older and you engage with more Batman material and you go, oh no, they have really settled on the Joker is the most sane. He knows exactly what he's doing. And there's no like random chaos to what he's doing. He is just as smart as Batman, in many cases smarter. Like that's the version of the character that I think makes the character work. Otherwise, character doesn't work for me. And that was my feelings after the first movie. I was like, this character doesn't work for me, especially within the context of you may become the Joker that has to fight Batman. And you're like, that doesn't make any sense.
No,
it doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't.
You know,
it doesn't.
It's gonna all come. It's all gonna come down to the execution, like with all movies. But I agree with you guys. I want to be optimistic about the movie, even though the first one kind of left me in a place feeling like, well, I don't understand what this movie was trying to say. Was it trying to say anything? I do hope that, regardless of all the praise that it got, that they still looked at everything that everyone said, and were able to really analyze that and say, like, yeah, you know what? I can see how Batman fans, in particular, who have a lot of thoughts and who have a lot of backstory and a lot of history with the character going into it, might look at that and go, like you're saying, Hector, I wish this had like some deeper meaning, some deeper thought. I think if this movie actually did come out in the 70s, in the time that it was in, I think it would have definitely been a better reflection of filmmaking back then. And I think not necessarily having something to say about the issues that the movie is talking about would have been more acceptable back then, because we weren't as deeply invested in talking about those topics like we are today. So I think that's also a part of it. I think part of it is you have to be very aware that you might be making a movie that is supposed to reflect or look like and feel like the 70s and 80s and Martin Scorsese movies and gangster films of that era, but you're also making it in the modern day. So if you're going to talk about topical issues, you have to kind of address them and not leave it so surface level. You know, you should have something to say, especially like you're saying, it's not tying into Batman. It very loosely tries to in the first film. So if you're really just tackling a Joker film and you're really just tackling a character who is dealing with mental health issues, then, you know, maybe you should not just scratch the surface, but really get in there and really try to make a statement on. You might fumble the statement, but at least you made the attempt to try to say something, and we can have a conversation of where it really where maybe it fails, but also where it really succeeds in trying to say something. So I do hope that the movie is able to kind of balance those things out. And I don't want to say that I don't have confidence in Todd Phillips being able to do that. It really comes down to the writing, the directing, the producing, and making sure that the creative vision is kind of, everyone is sort of on the same wavelength when it comes to that. And the actors too. The actors are going to contribute a lot to that. So I really do hope that all those things can come together and I wouldn't say correct what the first movie did, but just go a little bit deeper than the first movie did.
Totally.
Yeah, I think you're right. Man.
Adam. Well said, Adam.
Oh, thanks. It's like we like comic books and we like these characters enough that we actually give a shit that their movies are really good, and just scratch a little bit further than what the surface has to offer. But Let us know your thoughts. What did you think about this trailer? What are your thoughts on the original Joker movie? And do you feel like it fulfilled you as a Batman or a Joker fan in particular? Let us know all your thoughts. Make sure you guys come back when we do a watch along for this film. We'll talk about it on the Chexicans podcast as well. Check out all the other uncut reactions for everything else that we're watching. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.